Happy post-turkey day. Welcome to Preparedness. I am Moose. It is the day after Thanksgiving. And after being a beautiful 70 some odd degrees in the south, it is now in the 40s because the weather now is got more personalities than Hollywood celebs. This day is typically known for conspicuous consumerism, going out and buying useless shit you don't need at sale prices that were the actual price of it just a few short months ago, but now we're going to put it on sale after jacking up the price to force you or convince you that you're getting a good deal. Anywho, aside from my little rant, having worked in both Wally World as well as Best Buy as the person on the other end, the cashier or the guy who has to deal with the insane throws of people who decide that they really need that Cuisinart or they really need that PlayStation 3 and they're total ass. I'm trying to clean up my language a little bit. Let's just say they're not very nice people whenever little Timmy or Susie doesn't get the Tickle Me Elmo that they want. But hopefully you all had a blessed day. If you're above ground, you had a blessed day. If you had a belly that is somewhat full, you are incredibly blessed. So take time, even if you are not from the United States and do not celebrate the holiday, take time to be thankful for what you do have and also take stock of what you could do better. Anyway, I'm doing this because it's the holiday season. Come on, dude. You'd think I killed him. Come on, big man. We went for a good 4 miles yesterday. Thought he about died. And this morning, he was all raring to go. So I was like, okay, dude, let's do it. Throw in the pack. We've gone about almost 2 miles. And he's done. He won't admit that he's done, but he's done. Anywho, things I wanted to talk to you about was, because it's the holiday season and everybody's trying to look for the perfect gift for people, I would argue that you should probably look. Go on. You can go explore. Go on. It's okay. Go on. You want to go down? Yeah, I wouldn't go down either. Probably a poor choice, but you smell the deer. There's a deer trail. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little trail right there. Comes up and through. See some of the hoof prints down on the beach. So, we spooked a deer yesterday. I think he was off leash at the time, which he is now, but man, I figured he would be going for about a good 100 yards, and they'd be like, nah, you know what? Screw this shit. I'm out. Pyrenees are not known for their bursts of speed or their staying power. They're known for their downright ruggedness. Hey! And protecting the livestock, which he does. Lays about. If there's something there, fight real quickly, kill the threat, then come back, lay down, go back to sleep. He becomes a speed bump. Anywho, things I want to talk about is because it's the holidays. Everybody's trying to look for the perfect gift, right? And most of us is like, it has to be something. And that thing has to be, bigger than last year or some useless crap that people don't need. So I wanted to come up with some ideas for you that are both preparedness minded as well as make good sense. And they don't typically break the budget, but they might be out of the box. Now, some of them are going to be more expensive than others, and I'll go into it. But bottom line is, it doesn't have to be, the latest big screen TV. It doesn't have to be the latest gaming system. There's a lot of things you can get for that significant man or woman in your life, or heck, even your kids, depending on their proclivities. But you can get for them that actually work out real well. All right, so enough dawdling on. First one, socks. Everybody goes, gross socks, right? As a now man in my mid-30s, I love good quality socks. Let's go, dude. Sorry. He's really lagging today. So I love socks. Here, we'll go back. Come on. And the thing I like most about socks is good quality socks. Of late, I've been really into the Darn Tough wool socks because they keep my feet warm. And even when the weather is hotter, they seem to do really well with letting my feet breathe. Now, I prefer merino wool because, again, I don't have to worry about a lot of the issues like cotton socks. Do not get cotton socks. Cotton socks are terrible, especially when you're rucking, because they soak up that moisture and they don't wick it away. They just keep it there. So that's how I've had some of the worst blisters in my life. We're talking the entire pad of my foot blistered off because of cotton socks. Don't do that. But yeah, recently I've been getting really Darn Tough socks. They're fantastic, but they're expensive. They're about 16, 20 bucks a pair. And yes, unlike my gas can video, I actually did price them out. But they make them for both hiking. I got a pair of running socks that actually have a little lip on them. Those are pretty sweet. They actually work really well. Highly recommend. All right, number 2, good shoes. So one of the things that I run into the most, especially while rucking, is my shoes. My shoes, I go through a pair about every 3 months. And we're not talking like, because I literally wear through them. I'll see if I can't stop here in a minute. Come on, let's go. But I literally have worn the soles out of these Go Ruck shoes, the rubber pad on the underside. Now, Go Ruck has phenomenal shoes. So far, I've been very impressed. Come on, bud. But they're expensive. They're about 100 to 150 bucks, depending what you get. I have the ballistic trainers with the gum bottom on, and I've put now closer to 700 miles on them in the last, let's see, I got them in June, July timeframe. So that's July to November. Math in public, right? 4 months, almost 5 months. So they've held up better than any other shoes. That includes Asics, Nikes, Under Armour. So a good pair of shoes. Other ideas. A good first aid kit. I know it sounds stupid, right? Who wants to get a good first aid kit? Not me. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but when you think about it from a practicality standpoint, a good quality first aid kit is probably more beneficial and more likely to be used than any of the other stuff that we're talking about from a preparedness side of the house, right? My brother drives a semi, and he literally saw a truck on fire yesterday. Every time you go drive, you're doing the most dangerous activity that you could possibly do. And I cannot tell you how many accidents I have seen just living here, not including my whole life, where, let's go, a good first aid kit might have been beneficial or absolutely necessary. I personally use Refuge Medical. They're an American-based company. They're Christian-based. Whether or not that is your flavor or not, fine. But they also do a lot of work with actually finding and helping to restore trafficked children with part of their ministry. So if I can throw money towards them, I do, because I believe it carries on more than just what the gift is. I have a Barefac, and I also have a Slick kit, which is a Sexy Legs and Khakis kit. I carry that kit with me all the time in my duty uniform. And they also have a myriad of other like tourniquets, both regular tourniquets and then soft T tourniquets, like the ones that you use for kids. So highly recommend those. Other things you could look at. I'm about to go to a non-permissive state. It is not going to allow me to carry a firearm the way I would normally carry. So how do I stay sharp on my skills? Well, I am looking up right now at getting a laser trainer that is it resets the recoil on them. But imagine you take your pistol, doesn't matter what it is, Glock, Sig, Smith & Wesson, whatever. It has the same size, similar weight, has a magazine that has a battery in it, and every time you pull the trigger, it resets the trigger for you so you can shoot again. So unlike other laser trainers, I have laser light currently. Every time I shoot, I have to re-rack the pistol. But again, it means I have to have my pistol. Well, if I can't have my pistol because of the rules and regulations, how am I going to stay sharp? So I'm looking at this one because it's completely inert. I think it's SIRT. I forget what it stands for, but they're a couple $100. They've got a pretty good sale going on right now. But if you're trying to stay sharp and do those kinds of things, highly recommend some type of trainer like that, because it gives you an option where you may not have one. The final thing, and I'll say this because I've said it all the time, but there's two other things that you can invest in, and it may be for you and it may be for somebody else, but I recommend highly investing in yourself or this other person, both on the cheap as well as with training. So what I mean on the cheap, it costs nothing for me to go out here and walk. I'm out here all the time. Let's go. Sorry. He checks his perimeter, and if he smells somebody new in his perimeter, he has to investigate. There used to be a little beach down there, and that log just smashed that whole area. As you can see, we're still recovering from the Helene damage. But some of the stuff that you get training on, medical training, there's some really, really good, both combat casualty care, triple C care, there's stop the bleed, there's bleeding prevention. There's a lot of these ones that you can help do to train medically. There's classes in how to live off grid. There's classes on how to make herbs. There's classes on how to find wild mushrooms like this. There's classes on how to go hunt and provide for yourself. The two classes that I have gone to most recently, one was extreme close quarters combat, put on by a company called ShivWorks, where it was everything that was 3 feet and closer. So we're talking very close, like within arm's reach. And it had to do everything with wrestling. How do you do dominant body position for wrestling? Some BJJ, but then you start throwing guns into the match, knives into the fight, and you would literally fight people. My most memorable fight was with a very wiry, very smart Navy SEAL, and he is holding me up at gunpoint from the passenger side of the car, and he has a Glock trainer where it shoots the little paintball pistol rounds. Those things hurt, by the way. But how do I get his gun off of me while talking him to like confuse him what he's doing, and then get the gun off of me, be able to change my body position so that way I can get in and get my gun out and deployed and go after him. What, you want to go down there? Yeah, he's done. The other one I went to most recently was I went to a sheepdog response class. I was put on by Tim Kennedy, not the guy from CNN, the former Green Beret. It was a good class. I did both their tactical rifle course as well as their Protector 1 course because it was over the same weekend. Learned a few things. It is definitely a crawl to walk kind of thing. So those of you who know military acronyms, crawl, walk, run. Do something very slow first, then do something very fast, a little bit faster, and see how much further you can go the next iteration. Very much value added. There was half the time on that Protector course was spent on a jiu-jitsu mat and doing everything from kickboxing to fighting to doing BJJ with weapons. So I don't particularly like BJJ. I think it is it makes sense if you're on the ground, but I prefer to stay on my feet. Now granted, could you get knocked on the ground? 100%. But if you could stay on your feet, you have a much better chance of survival. But took that class. Go on, hey, go on, go get water. Go get water. trying to get him down there. This is actually where I slipped and fell. I slipped right here, and I caught myself right there with my arm like this, wearing the same pack, and my arm went, and that's how I hurt my arm. But go on. Anyway, that training was actually really good. I took some buddies of mine who were totally, they're military, but military has lots of occupations where they don't use a whole lot of guns. So being able to go do that with them, they learned a lot more than I did. But still took some pointers away. And that was very beneficial for me. But I highly encourage those classes. They're expensive. They're not cheap. I know that Protector 1 classes are Tim Kennedy stuff. Hey, you ready? His stuff is not, also has an online portion. Hey, go on. Anyway, they have an online portion. I haven't tried those out yet. I prefer in classes, but anyway, hope this helps a little bit. If I don't catch you, have a great and safe Thanksgiving. Be safe out there today with all the crazies. And as always, stay safe out here.